where we're going to be discussing about a whole lot. I do have some persons in the room saying that do not hear anything. If you can hear me, please confirm in the chat, and we're going to be proceeding really strong. Absolutely amazing. Once again, welcome once again to all of the Tafabot community joining us from all over the world. We just finished an amazing section with the Indian and Asian team, and right now I am with the English speaking country team. So I want to celebrate all of you, all of the amazing leaders joining from here. I do see in the chat Canada in the house. I also see from the UK, those also in the UAE, where we're located. Amazing. Welcome to all of you amazing leaders joining us today. It's going to be an interesting section, and we're going to be talking about all we've been doing in Tafabot, what's next, how we're proceeding forward to ensure that our users, which are yourself, are exceptionally making amazing profit. So I do have a lot of users says Ghana in the house, Nigerians in the house. That is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And users from Italy in the house. That is beautiful. That is absolutely amazing. Welcome to every one of you. Now, proceeding forward, there's a lot we're going to be discussing today. We're also going to be sharing some materials after this section. And every material you're going to see in this section, you don't need to worry about it. It's going to be available to the global community right after this section. I want to start by acknowledging all of the amazing leaders doing exceptional work. I still do have a lot of message. United States in the house and UAE, absolutely welcome, guys. So I want to celebrate all of the amazing leaders doing amazing work in Tafabot in different countries, different cities, users from South Africa in the house. That is absolutely amazing. You guys are the bedrock of Tafabot. You guys are the driving force of Tafabot. Your amazing work, users say Germany in the house. That is beautiful. Your amazing work is felt by us and the management team. We can see all the amazing things you're doing. Users from Kenya in the house. That is amazing. We can see all the exceptional stuff that you're doing, all of your promotion, all of your strength, all of your vibes and everything. That is absolutely amazing. And we want to make sure to enforce our commitments to every one of you that we do stand behind you in all time to ensure that together, not just Tafabot, but every one of us, we're going to the moon together. Now, we're going to see how we're going to do that with a few of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today. First, I want to start by addressing several of the community concerns that has been over the past few days. It has been several comments, several stories. I've had to read through a lot of them myself. For some of you that don't know, I do go through all of the Tafabot global Telegram group for the English, for different community. You might not know my handle, but I do go through every one of those. In Tafabot, I've always liked to state this very, very clearly. Tafabot is all about the community. It's all about the users. It's all about you. It's not about us. Our business model literally cannot survive without you. You are our driving force. If you're making profit, that is when Tafabot as a company makes profit, which makes our commitment 100% focused on you. Now, I've gone through a lot of amazing comments, a lot of also not so amazing comments the past couple of days. That has been happening in the community. I'm going to address a few of them. Some of these comments I've had to reach out to people personally. If you're in this call and you ever got a chat from me on Telegram, or you got on a Zoom with me, you could say hi in the chat. I want to know you. Amazing. There's still some new users joining us today asking where is money deposited. We're going to talk about that. So I see a lot of users that say hi. So I've joined a Zoom with you. So for some of you that don't know, I'm actually passive in the community. I see everything happening. Like I said, Tafabot is all about the community. And that is why we always want to know how you're feeling. We always want to know to ensure that you're receiving the best and amazing result. That is our driving force. I see a user said, I chatted with you yesterday, sir. That's absolutely amazing. User Wale, that is beautiful. So all of this whole comments, all of these whole interactions that we've seen, I want to affirm that Tafabot in the whole global space of this industry for automation, for trading robots, Tafabot, if I was not Tafabot CEO, this is a company I want to be with. This is a company I want to work with. Now, there are several reasons for that. I've seen a lot of other persons in the industry, and I can boldly say this to you, that in Tafabot is the only company I've seen that the management team are not just business guys who wants to sell a robot to you, but the management team are also full-time technical guys who is always ensuring that you get the best of what you're doing. Now, for some persons that don't know, as much as I am the CEO of Tafabot, I am also the lead development team of Tafabot. So a lot of the development you see, it's not just a business development. Those are algorithms that I had to create myself. So you are in the company of a full driving force. So our community, we need to understand that we're in a company of a full driving force that is not just a business trying to sell license to you, like every other one you find out there, but a technical driving force that wants to take you to the moon. Now, and it is important that as a community that we all are moving together in that same accord to the moon. Now, several of the comments I've had to read, several of the people I've had to have a lot of this conversation with in the past couple of days. Few stuff I've noticed also in the community. We're going to talk about that and see how we're progressing from that as a company. Now, next thing about Tafabot is we are one company that is very face forward. What I mean by that is we're located in Business Bay, Dubai, UAE. A lot of you walk into the office every single day. We have an open office policy where anyone can walk in. You could meet with the team, you could meet with me, you could meet with any single person around. Now, that is something to be proud about in Tafabot. This is why we take responsibility. I believe that there are no other system out there that their CEO is going to be with you this way, talking with you. And this is because it is not about the CEO, it's not about the business, it's all about you. That is what Tafabot stands for. For those that don't know the history of Tafabot, Tafabot started as a completely 100% free software, not paid, no gas fee, nothing. It started as a 100% free software. And what happened? We thought about how do we help users? People are trading every day. There's a lot of risks with trading. People go through a lot trying to make profit. There was a large COVID hit also. People were at home. How do we provide people something that they're going to be excited about that makes them profit? That's bettered Tafabot. It was completely free. Anybody could use it. There was no charge. There was no fee. Only that you had to run it on your PC. All the algorithms were there. It was profitable for the users. Starting Tafabot was always the people, not about the business, not about the money, was always 100% the people. This is why we're always forward with the community. This is why we're always there. Want to know how you feel, what you're doing, how you're doing it. We want to ensure that you're always making profit. We want to ensure that you're always getting the best out of Tafabot. Tafabot grew into being a paid system when we skyrocketed the user base and we knew it wasn't sustainable anymore to allow people run on their own server. You had to buy your server. If you were there in Tafabot 2 years ago, you could just say hi here. We like to acknowledge OGs in the house. That is absolutely amazing. You had to run it on your PC. So we went commercial when we needed to make it hands-free for you. So you're not in a system that is trying to sell you something. You're in a system that is trying to empower you, that is trying to make sure you have the best of usage of not just Tafabot, but your personal life, your personal finance, your personal profitability. I see a lot of comment right now from user Meg Carey. He said 3 years down the road, you've been with us for 3 years. That is absolutely amazing. For someone asking, when did we start? You just heard from that user. We're 3 years down the road, 1 full year, more than 1 year, almost 2 years as an absolutely free software that people could use. So I've interacted with the community over this past few days. I've met a lot of persons. I've had to jump on Zoom with a lot of persons that never knew it was me, just to ensure that our community is flowing in the line. Now, there are a few things that I did notice while doing that. Now, there are some users. A user said, I thought Tafabot started in October 2022. I was told by my upline. Amazing. Yes, absolutely. It went commercial then. It was a free software before then. Absolutely. That's amazing. So while interacting with the community, I did meet different sets of persons. And I want to affirm that with all of our leaders, all of our community leaders, to understand what is going on and what you need to do about it. Now, first, I like to establish that there are few persons who did have a couple of issues the past few days on their Tafabot. We're also going to talk about those issues and what we're doing about it. But I also did notice some other person who also are not even part of Tafabot community. Now, part of the Zooms I did jump on some users, I noticed some users who don't have a Tafabot account who came and posted in the group that I had this problem, I had that problem. Speaking with them, they had no Tafabot account and they just blanked out. I also did speak with several other users who, one user in particular in the group posted, I'm using 3.1 and I just got liquidated. And I did read that. And I was absolutely thrown away. I was absolutely shocked. I know it is not possible with 3.1 for that to happen. And there's been a lot of comments in the group about 3.1 or 2.0, want to go back to 2.0. And we know the effect of what 3.1 stands and the benefits it brings to the community. So for several of these users, I did jump into a Zoom with a few of them, and several stuff I noticed was that a particular user who said he got liquidated, what he actually meant was that he got his trade closed for 1% negative. And I was surprised. I had to jump on that call myself to really confirm, how could you get liquidated with 3.1? Only to see that it was just a 1% trade that was closed for 1% deficit. So we need to understand how missed we are in the community. Few other persons that don't even have a Tafabot account. Now, what is happening right now? There are users with issues, genuine users, and we're going to talk about those issues. Absolutely genuine users. But for every leader joining us today, you have to understand that our community is also mixed up with people who are not users totally at all, who don't even have a Tafabot account, who just want to make sure they destroy the business of Tafabots that you're enjoying. We've identified a few of them, and we're going to start taking measures to such kind of persons to ensure that they don't affect the community generally. For a user who doesn't even have an account, comes in to say, I lost my money, and then we are like, okay, can you show us? And the user cannot show it because it doesn't exist. What is your account? The account doesn't exist. So we're mixed with the community of not just Tafabot users, because we now have the Tafabot global community group for different countries. Anyone could come in and say any kind of stuff, both those that are real, but those that are not real. Now, are they fighting Tafabot? Not really. What they're fighting is not Tafabot. What they're fighting is actually you, your leaders, you, our users, from enjoying these benefits that Tafabot brings. Now, it is our collective responsibility as a community to defend our cause. Now, we're going to keep getting infiltrated by external communities who wants to just try to taint our image, to draw people over to them. We have to understand that and know what Tafabot stands for, who we are. And if you are any of those community rights here, joining us to also hear what we're saying, I've acknowledged, I know a few of them. This is what you want to do. I do hope that you're able to come on a Zoom just like I did with your community and show your face. Now, that's one thing very important about Tafabot is that all of our team are easily accessible. We're here. So if you do have a trouble, you have someone to run to than any other system out there that is using a fake name, a fake CEO, fake people that you cannot see. Once again, I want to affirm to every leader here, we're in for the long run. We don't care what comes along the way. We don't care what challenges we face. If you've been with us for 3 years, you would understand that at every point we've stepped higher to address those challenges, not just address it, but always bring solutions for them. So we're going to talk about those who have genuine issues and what we are doing as a company about that. Perfect. There's a lot of comments, a lot of questions. That is absolutely beautiful. We're going to try to get through several one of them before we do move forward. So if you're in a trade, I want to talk about you first before we move forward to what Tafabot is doing right now, how our trading mechanism is going to work starting from today, and what you need to do to be able to benefit from that. We've always stated that part of the goal of Tafabot is to always produce algorithm that is able to maneuver the market in whichever way the market is going to, if the market is bullish, if the market is bearish, or if the market is sideways. That has always been our goal as Tafabot, not a system that works one time, or a system that works in every single time, in every single season. Now, why doing that? We do expect some difficulties. The market is dynamic. It changes every single time. We do expect some difficulties, but at every single point of these difficulties, we always stand tall to make sure we address those. Now, we did notice all of the complaints that had come from real users were from few markets: Tomo, Link, APRA, CTST, and the rest of them. We're going to look through them and see what's really happened. If you also got a close trade, this also relates to you. If you have an ongoing trade right now, this also relates to you on what to do, what we're doing, and how we want to address that. All right. So if you're looking at my screen, you're looking at Tomo's charts, for example. Now, for a lot of you users, your Tomo started around here, around this point over here, and Tomo did run over 135% price movement. Now, if you're trading with, for example, $1,000 on Tomo, and you did get into this trade, now this is what happened to your account. For those who are still there, for those who got affected by it, we acknowledge a few of them, and also for those who are still on those trades. So if your capital is $1,000, your bot, as it relates to 3.0, has already understood what to do next and how to maximize this capital despite how far this market wants to go. But in times like this, where markets like Tomo, Lina are in extreme pump and dump, this line you can see over here of a 135% happened in Tomo in less than 1 hour, and everything did crash back. Now, when things like this does happen, if you can see my screen, your exchange will introduce all right. Okay. I did have my screen disconnected. I'm just going to share right back. Let me know if you can see my screen. Right, I'm going to share right back. Perfect. All right, so this is back to Tomo. So if you're trading this with $1,000 capital, at the height of a pump and dump, your exchange introduced the funding fee, which is there, it's regular, right? It is there, it's regular for all of the system to have a funding fee. That has always been there. But your funding fee, while you've never noticed it, is always around 0.001, 0.002%. Literally very tiny. You would never notice it. But when a pump and dump starts happening like this, your exchange introduce a 2% funding fee to be able to cover up for the excesses of the pump. So you're going to have a funding fee of 2%, which is multiplied by your leverage 10, resulting to a 20% funding fee on your $1,000 capital. So this is your Tafabot trading around here and understanding that this market could go 2,000%. And it already devised how to use this capital to cover up for it. At the point where the market goes here and your exchange charges you the funding fee, it happens 3 times every day, every 8 hours. If you go to Binance, any of your exchange, you're going to see the funding fee, the time is going to happen when you're going to be charged. So if your Tafabot already knows I'm going to use $1,000 capital to cover up this price movement, at this point, your exchange sends you a funding fee charge. What has happened is you don't have $1,000 anymore. You now have $800. Now, in the next 8 hours, you're also going to receive another funding fee of 20%. Next, you don't have $800 anymore. You now have about $600 again. Now, if your bot was to use $1,000 to cover up for this market movement, it doesn't have the capital anymore. At this point, your exchange is going to close your account for 0 because there's no capital enough to cover up for your floating. So for users who got affected, you got your account affected by this, this is what actually happened. And I'm going to share a screenshot. I'm going to share my own account on that. For those who weren't affected, were those who had extra capital on your accounts to cover up for SSCs like this. So if you don't have extra capital, let's say you had $1,000 and all the $1,000 was on your exchange trading on that market, then you don't have the privilege of not being affected like other users. So I do have a funding fee over here. This is $11.39. This is for Lena. And once again, this is an account for Lena trading with $1,005. So I got a first charge of $180, means I don't have $1,005 again. And next I got another charge of $294, again, funding fee. And if I keep going, I got another charge of $359, 2% funding fee multiplied by my leverage, making it 20%. And that just keeps going, $66. Now, my Lena trade at one point have been charged a funding fee that was greater than the capital of the trade. That at one point I'm asking myself, do I just close this trade, shut it down? It doesn't matter what profit I'm going to make anymore. The funding fee is greater than my capital already. So you could keep going over and over. For some of you, you might not get this message. If you're not subscribed to the funding fee alerts, you might not get that. I also did have the same thing for APRA. This is APRA, $257. And I have another one, $236 on APRA. And another one, $544. APRA was trading with $1,005. Now, I've been charged more than the whole capital. So even if the market doesn't want to liquidate me, there's no capital left and my exchange is going to liquidate me because of the capital deficiency. Now, this is not happening to all of the markets. Now, the difference why this felt like it was a great deal is that a lot of users were trading on the same market. Everyone was trading APRA, everyone was trading Tomo at the same time, everyone was trading Lena. And it is very, very simple because a lot of users go through the top performing bots and they look and say, okay, Joe is making money for people today. Everyone is trading Joe, and SRP. SSP, sorry. Joe is making 6%, so I'm going to set Joe. Now, Joe could be leading to the next pump and dump. Now, when you set that, a large group of persons are now trading the same market, and you are all affected at the same time. And the same thing happened with Pepe. For the users asking, Pepe did the same thing. The funding fee also on Pepe was also the same. I also do have a Pepe trade. I could show that also. So if you got affected, this is what happened. Now, we're seeing this and ensuring that you don't get affected again. Some days ago, knowing that some users are still on Lena on several other trades, and you're going to be charged a 20% fee. Once again, we triggered a stop on your trade. So several of you were on like a 1% minus. Some persons were on 5 to 10% minus. And we know that your next fee is going to be 20% of your capital. And we triggered a stop to ensure you're not charged 20% for the next 8 hours, which is going to be 60% of your whole capital, leading to your account blowing up again. Now, this is how we're always conscious at users trade. We're always checking to be sure what is the state of every user's trade. How can we help that? How can we secure that from happening? Now, for others who are not on any of this trade, you notice you're absolutely fine. Some of you have trade running on some other markets that has been there for a week and you are totally unbothered about it. Why those on these few markets that had a pump and dump, you got affected by it. Now, we are also creating as a company measures to ensure that this never happens again, never affects our users. And all of these measures, we're going to be communicating next on this section. Now, first thing to note is for those who are currently on this trade, today we're launching something new, which I'm going to be sharing with you. How do you manage those trades? What should you do right now? And what should happen with your thoughts going trades from now? All right. Today we're launching, guys, the Tafabot Streams and Safu, which is called the Tafabot Trade and Risk Management, and also the Tafabot Secure Assets Funds for users. Once again, I want to state again that our goal as a company is to achieve profitability in a relative passive approach, and that is absolutely 100% hands-free. This is what we've always strived for. This is what we've always pushed for, and that is where we are in Tafabot right now. So throughout this, we're going to talk about market selection, do's and don'ts, worst case scenario, what could happen to your trade from now on Tafabot. What is the worst case scenario that Tafabot will ever permit starting from today? Right. So first is about your coin selection. For those, again, who are still on a trade, we're going to get to that point. So you want to stay tuned to that on what you need to do about your trade. So first, we want to talk about coin selection. How do you select what markets to trade? Now, there are markets with a low market cap that even I myself could pump if I want to do that, because their market cap is very, very low. Few persons hold it. The order book is very, very light. Anyone with a couple millions can pull such kind of market. Now, for professional traders who want to explore, you want to go 100% in a day and all the rest, you're free to choose such kind of market. But for our users, today we're installing the trim, which is the safety measures as to what you should do, what you should follow, and if you do follow this, what are the worst case scenario and what will Tafabot cover up for? So why selecting coin? We want to look at markets with large market cap that are well distributed, that cannot be manipulated, of Tomo doing 100% pump in 1 hour and back down. Now, to do that could take less than $2 to $5 million. Someone just trigger a market entry and all of a sudden it is 100% and he sells it immediately. He makes 50% profit and every other person becomes liquidity for that trade. We don't want to be involved in such kind of markets going forward. So when I've read a lot of pump and dump markets, our goal is to ensure you have passive income that is stable, that you can rely on at every single time. Now, there are scenarios that pump and dump could profit you. Now, Tafabot also provides for that. But there are also scenarios where a pump and dump could become a trap to trap your trade, just like what happened in Tomo, where all of your markets just get stuck in the trade and there is no way to go out, the way Tomo did a pump and dump in less than an hour. So right now, I want to look at markets with large market cap, markets that has a large distribution of their coins. And we've listed a couple of them that we are recommending from today as your top 20 recommendation of coins to set. You want to put trades on BTC, on Ethereum, on BNB, on SROP, on TRS, on LTC, and several other ones. Now, this document is also going to be made available to the public after this section. Next, also, you want to do a lot of capital distribution. Now, what does this mean? If you are trading, you don't want to put all of your capital. You don't want to put all of your capital into the market. You want to do smart capital distribution. And smart capital distribution is not just for security, it's also for profitability. Now, there are times that a market will not be moving as you expect it to. But then there are also other markets that are moving in the right direction. So you want to distribute your capital. Let's take, for instance, that you're trading with $50,000. You want to spread your capital in the 20 recommended markets, always to ensure the best profitability. Now, this document also includes how to set up your bot for users that are joining us for the first time. So you have one document that conveys setting up your bot, risk management, and the Tafabot security system. So for All right, guys, we're back again. We got disconnected. Let me know again in the community if you can hear me loud and clear. Perfecto. All right, we're going to be going back to our discussion earlier. Once again, let me know if you can see my screen at this point. All right. Absolutely, that is amazing. All right, so I did talk about do's and don'ts that you don't want to do. I did talk about do not overtrade and also do not follow top performing trades. So a lot of users go directly into the app and they see a lot of coins like Tomo, right now it is Joe. And you see the top performing markets by people who are trading those markets. They're doing maybe 200% today, and you just jump into trading that market. And it is easily to get trapped in such pump and dump. So you want to follow the recommended market. It doesn't matter if Joe is showing us the top performing markets today. You just want to follow the recommended trades that we're giving today. Next is you don't want to reduce your capital in an ongoing trade. When the trade starts, your bot has already structured how to handle your capital, and you don't want to change that structure. Now, starting today, we're installing a lot of security measures to ensure that our users' capital and profit is always safe. Now, we're bringing about what we call the worst case scenario in Tafabot starting today. Now, I believe a lot of you are going to be excited about this. Now, if you're following the Tafabot trim, which is the trade and risk management, you're using the selected markets that we're giving from today, and you're also following the setup like we just gave, which you're going to see in this document right now. And you're not trading any of those pump and dump markets. You're trading you're following the recommended system that you will be getting in this document right now. Now you have your first worst case scenario. Now we are installing from today a capital preservation strategy for when a market will be manipulated, even if all of the recommended markets we're giving right now ever get manipulated at any point. This is going to be the worst case scenario starting today in Tafabot. Now, if your trade is running and the trade ever tries to fail or go against the strategy or gets manipulated, Tafabot AI is going to trigger an anti-manipulation system that will keep your accounts on a maximum of 3 to 6.5% deficit, not in loss trade, but floating deficit. So starting today, if you are starting a trade, you should never, from today in Tafabot, have a 15% deficit PNL of your capital. Again, the maximum deficit you will ever see using the Tafabot trim is going to be around 3 to 6.5% of your capital. Now, this is going live immediately after this section. So if you're starting a trade at all, this is the worst case scenario that could ever happen on Tafabot starting from this moment. Now, let's take, for instance, that a market gets so manipulated and the exchange wants to crash, or like Lena, what was this market that went almost to zero? Luna last time. If it's like Luna, what Tafabot is going to do is to install the NEST protocol, which is an extreme condition safeguard. And in this safeguard, we are going to be, it has a cancellation policy of 10% cap. So if that ever tries to happen, your trade is going to be called off at a maximum of 10% cap. Now, this is not something we expect to happen at all. This is going to be a 1 in 1,000 event. Means that if your following these recommended settings, you might never experience this in a year or so. In 2 years, you might never see this. But if it ever does happen, we have a 10% cap policy starting from today. Now, this does not mean your trade is going to be cutting off at all. You're going to be making as much profit as you should on Tafabot, but all of the security measures are now installed to safeguard your trade. So in all of your trade, you could go to sleep knowing that you cannot have a floating more than 3 to 6% of your capital, which is absolutely amazing. The first of its kind that you will ever find anywhere. Now, what happens if Tafabot calls off your trade? What happens if you are currently in a trade and you need to move to the new system that ensures you never have a floating of more than 3 to 6.5% of your capital? For those who are still in server trade, right now, you're still in maybe Lena or any of this trade right now, what do you do about it? Today, also, we're announcing the Tafabot SAFU, which is the Secured Assets Funds for User. So a lot of you are already excited. I can see the comment sections. You're already excited about the security measures, and you're going to also be blown away by the SAFU. So if you're in a trade or you ever get your trade called off starting from today, the Tafabot SAFU will be covering for that. Now, what is the Tafabot SAFU? The Tafabot SAFU is a secured asset fund that we're dedicating right now 5% of Tafabot company's income to the SAFU funds. Now, what this means is if at any point you're following the recommended settings in this document, you're following the market, the strategy, and it ever fails or have a stop loss of 10%, like we stated, resulting from Tafabot ever closing your trade while following this recommended system, what is going to happen is that the SAFU fund is going to cover for a percentage for you. So this means if you ever get a 10% stop, which you would never get, but if that ever happens or the trade ever fails beyond there, resulting to even more than 3 to 6% of the expected worst case scenario right now, the SAFU funds is going to be covering up for 30% of that amount. Now, you don't need to call anyone to ask for it. You don't need to send an email. This is now automated in the system, which means immediately it happens and it cannot find this trade any longer. Automatically in your wallet, you're going to find 30% of that. Now, what happens to those who are currently in a trade? You're currently in Lena, you're currently in any of this other trade setup that is ongoing right now. What should you do? Now, number one thing is we want everyone to start on a clean state. As much as we don't control the market, we can't help it, but we want every user to start on the Tafabot SAFU and currently on an absolutely clean slate. Now, we understand some users are already having that negative. You have it from 2.0 or 3.0 or whichever one. And right now, a lot of these markets are declining. Lena is going to crash hard, just like APRA crashed, and few persons who are wearing bonds on APRA right now, you're closing your trades on profits. It could happen the same for other markets, but the market is so much manipulated that you wouldn't know what is going to happen next. Could Lena double up the price right now? So the best recommendation we're giving as Tafabot team right now is if you're in any of those trades, you are in 10% deficit or 50% deficit or whatsoever, we recommend that you start up your trade on a fresh note. Now, if you go to your Tafabot between today, we're giving from today to 5th on any of those trades, if those trades are not currently closed or they don't go in profit, we want you to start on a clean state. So if you go to any of those trades and turn off your bot, I don't mean go to your exchange and stop the trade. You go to your bot and turn off your bot. Whatsoever deficit you have on that trade right now, automatically the SAFU fund is also going to cover up for 30% of that directly into your Tafabot wallet. Now, what will happen is the SAFU funds are for the trades that are running right now. If you want to call it off, it's also going to consider how much profit you've either made from that trade. Now, if you've not made profit from it, or the current trade, the deficit does not cover up for the profit you've made, it's going to award you the SAFU fund instantly. So you can start your trade on an absolutely fresh note that will never go beyond a 3 to 6% of your capital ever again. We could tell you to hold those trades. Lena could dump for those in Lena. It could dump really hard, but we don't know where the market will go. We don't control it. So this is our recommendation for you. We are providing the SAFU fund to cover up for that. If you close that trade right now, between now to 5th of next month, between the next couple of days, SAFU funds will automatically be credited also into your wallet. So we are backdating the SAFU fund for those who are currently in the trade. This is automated. You don't need to send an email. You don't need to contact anyone. You're just going to find it on your account. And for new users starting any trade from today, this is what is going to happen on your account. SAFU fund will cover for it, and your account can never, and I repeat, it would never go beyond a 3 to 6%. Now, what if our technology fails? What if anything fails? Then also, we are also installing the extreme safety measures for a 10% stop. So if that also happens, the SAFU funds covers up for you. Now, just a few things to note about SAFU funds is that SAFU funds should not cover or would not cover for third-party failure. And what is third-party failure? It means failure from your exchange. Let's say Binance is not opening, Binance is not working, Binance is on maintenance, and Tafabot cannot access or cannot do anything. The SAFU fund does not include that. But the SAFU fund 100% covers up for every failure resulting from following the Tafabot system that you're going to get in this document from now. There's a lot of comments. I'm going to see how to go through a couple of them after this section. So once again, if you're in a current trade, this is what we recommend for you to do. If you're not also in a trade, you want to start up your bot, and this is how your bot is going to be functioning starting from these very, very moments. So from today to 5th, you can decide to call off any of those trades that are still on the old system, and the SAFU fund will cover for it. Now, if you don't call off those trades after 5th, then the SAFU fund would not be able to cover up for it. Now, we do hope that those trades go amazingly and they close in profit. Once again, we cannot fully manage for all the markets. And this is why we're coming forward to provide for you all of these amazing details that you can use right away. So there's a lot of questions in the community. I'm going to take a few of them in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to be having the Spanish section also. For our Spanish users, we had an amazing section with Asia and India, and we're going to be moving to Spanish shortly. So I'm going to answer as much questions as we can before we do move forward. Right. There's already a lot of questions. I'm going to see how much we can. The SAFU fund cover for trade still on 2.0? Absolutely. Or trade that is prior 2.0 like ZEM and all of that. No, SAFU fund covers for trade that are currently ongoing right now that you do have access to call off. Also, SAFU fund covers up for trade starting from today that ever gets called off by Tafabot. As I said, what if I had shut off the 3.0 before the Zoom? Do I qualify for SAFU fund? From now, this is going live right on this call. So if you do that right on this call and after now, it absolutely covers for it. Once again, you don't have to go to your exchange to close the trade. What you want to do is to turn off your bot, and your bot will close the trade and handle the SAFU funds automatically. As I saying, is 3.1 among the trade that we should call off? 3.1 is absolutely amazing, but all of these new security measures has been integrated into it, but it cannot cover up for trades that we're running before now. So your trade might not even be in deficit right now in 3.1, or maybe it's in 1 to 3 or 5 or whatever percentage. You want to start your setup on the recommended market and also starting it afresh, so that it covers up for the whole 3 to 6% measures that should never be exceeded. As I said, if we create a bot right now with SAFU Fund work right now, right on this call, create a bot, SAFU Fund works for it. There's still so many comments. There are over 100 of them. We're just going to try to take as much as we can. As I said, thank God, this is unbelievable. Tafa dies for its subscribers. Amazing. Tafa is a pro community management that is absolutely beautiful. Once again, Tafabot is all about the community. Again, as I said, should I turn off my Apple right now? Absolutely, go ahead. You want to join the new system. This is what we do hope, that everyone starts on a clean slate. We don't want you holding up those bags from the previous system. We want you to start on an absolutely clean slate. All right. As I said, thank you so much. I'm trapped in Tomo and High, and I'm truly happy about SAFU. I'll be calling off those trade. Tafabot to the moon. God bless you, CEO. A lot of these comments. Super amazing, SAFU. All right. I'm still looking for comments that are asking questions. Tafa SAFU is amazing. Another user. As I said, I have Apralina. Should I call them off? Just like I did state, you can call off those trades. Why is the manual martingale setup malfunctioning? Is it supposed to be layering from initial amount, but it starts from a huge amount? No, that absolutely is not touched. If you did create a manual bot, a manual system works as it should. Also, I want to make clear that SAFU Fund does not cover up for your personal setup, does not cover up for a manual setup. It covers up for the automated system that you do follow using the documents that we're given after this call. All right. There's still a lot of comments. Can we get these documents? And with this shutdown automatically also affects the mirror. This applies to also the mirror guys and all of those trades running there. Please, is the trade on 3.1 before this meeting still valid, or should we continue? If those trades are not set right now, you want to start them afresh. You want to follow the recommended markets after now. Are these recommended markets all available for all the exchange? Absolutely. All the 20 recommended markets are available on all of the exchanges. All right, there's still so many, over 100, a lot of them. As I say, is NeuroNet still existing? I can't find it in the app. Maybe you're using the old app. NeuroNet is still standing strong there. Are these settings different for 3.1? What is different is the markets that the settings should work on, and absolutely that you're starting the trade afresh is also the difference. All right, for user Femi asking, we've already stated what you need to do. User say, I have a trade on Binance, not reflecting on the app. You want to reach out to support for that. That does not apply to this. Would the recommended market be updated as time goes on? Absolutely. We're going to keep updating this document, and we're also going to be communicating to the community at every single point. As I say, can we still trade on Lina and Tomo after this meeting? The SAFU Fund will not cover for that. The SAFU Fund only covers for when you follow the Tafabot trim in the documents. All right. Can we also confirm that Bybit and OKS are all right now? Yes, absolutely. You're able to trade on Bybit and OKS also, and those exchanges are perfectly fine. Okay. All right, there's still so many comments. I'm just going through a lot of them, and a lot keep coming in. What is the best exchange to use for Tafabot? All of the exchanges are great. Of course, we do know that Binance is much more user-friendly to use. And there's also a lot of big announcement that we did state earlier that we're bringing 3.1 into sports markets. So you're able to use it for sports also, using the same algorithm that runs on future will also be running on sports. And once again, I want to state for all of the leaders joining this call, we stand behind you again. I want to iterate that. And also, we look forward to start having all of the meetings in your different areas. Meetings are going to be coming up in Latin America, meetings are going to be coming up in Asia, in India. We look forward to also a meeting in Abuja coming up shortly. We look forward to a meeting in Lagos and different parts of our English-speaking community. And users in United States, you're able to use sports in 3.1 also using the same algorithm. All right, guys, there's still a whole lot of comments. We cannot attend to those. We have to also join the Spanish-speaking community meeting. Once again, I celebrate every one of you and all of the TAFA community, all of the moderators in different community group, all of the leaders, every one of you, you are the bedrock of what we're doing. We stand behind you. And for all of our users, together, we're going to the moon. Thank you so much for joining. TAFA is strong. We're growing stronger. We're getting better. And we're taking you to the moon with us. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. You're going to find this document right after this call on different group. You want to spread it all across. And if you're going to also find this video on YouTube, for those who missed anything we talked about, you're going to watch it again to understand what to do about your trade and what not to do. Thank you so much, Tafans, and have an amazing day.